Let's observe silence for some time. Oh. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, Dhyana Yoga. We'll chant from verse 5 to 10.
उद्धरेदात्मनात्मानं नात्मानमवसादयेत् आत्मैव ह्यात्मनो बन्धुः आत्मैव विपुरात्मनः बन्धुरात्मात्मनस्तस्य येनात्मैवात्मना जितः अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे वर्तेतात्मैव शत्रुवत् जितात्मनः प्रशान्तस्य परमात्मा समाहितः शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु तथा मानापमानयोः ज्ञानविज्ञानतृप्तात्मा कूटस्थो विजितेन्द्रियः युक्त इत्युच्यते योगी समलोष्टाश्मकाञ्चनः सुहृन्मित्रार्युदासीन मध्यस्थद्वेष्य बन्धुषु साधुष्वपि च पापेषु समबुद्धिर्विशिष्यते योगी युञ्जीत सततम् आत्मानं रहसि स्थितः एकाकीयत चित्तात्मा निराशीरपरिग्रहः
So last week we studied verse number 5 and 6. Now these two verses are important in the sense, if you get the message in these two verses, you will get a direction to your life. So first thing, what verse number 5 is telling us, the first message, important message, Uddaret Atmana Atmanam. Man must lift himself by himself. So every human being has got a capacity to change his or her life, right up to the state of self-realization. It can take you if you put efforts in the right direction. And nobody is denied this opportunity. Nobody is at a disadvantage. No human being is nobody has a drawback. It all depends on how you manage yourself. So, how you can change your life, how you can transform your life is because of self effort. It's called as Purushartha. English word for Purushartha is self effort. So, by using self effort, you can completely negate your past. You don't have to worry about your past. A lot of people, they say, I wish I was exposed to this knowledge in my teens. It's okay. I mean, ideally, that's the right age. But even if you are 40, 50, 60, 70, I mean, if you decide to transform your life, you can. Right up to the state of enlightenment, it can take you. And the same formula applies in any facet of life. If you put efforts in your own profession, if you have merit, I mean, who can stop you? Nobody can stop you. Even sky is not the limit. People say sky is the limit. Even sky is not the limit for you. So that's the power we all have. Every human being has. So it all depends on how you manage your personality. That's the whole thing. And what can you offer? What tools can you offer to change your personality? Perception, actions, emotions, and thoughts. Body, mind, intellect. Body has perception. You can perceive. You can act with body. With mind, you can feel emotions. And with intellect, you can think. So these are the tools we all have. There is no fifth tool. So if you use these tools wisely, you can bring about a complete transformation in your life. But if same tools you use unwisely, I mean, you can unmake yourself, isn't it? So you can make yourself, you can unmake yourself. Both choices are given to you. So you decide how you want to manage your life. She's like a clay. I don't know whether I mean, some of us have gone, when you join that hobby class in school or even in college, so they give you clay, right? Pottery class. Now, teacher has got the capacity, whoever is teaching you, and that piece of clay, they transform into something amazing. It could be like a Ganesha, it could be elephant, it could be, I don't know, a bus. I remember in Bombay, that teacher, he made Ganesha and BST bus, the public transport bus. Amazing. But if you don't have the talent, I mean, what, you can't even make a football, you know. But the same clay is there. If you have the talent, if you apply yourself, you can make something beautiful from that clay. The same clay you can mess up. You may not be able to do anything. So therefore he says, Uddaret Atmanatmanam. Human being must lift himself by himself. Yes, teachers and textbooks, they have a huge role to play in our life. It goes without saying. But nobody can put efforts for you. This is what you need to understand. That is something you need to do yourself. So this was the main message in verse number 5. And verse number 6, he educates the entire humanity, the role of God in our life. How does God principle function? How does Atman function in our life? So it is neutral. God principle or divinity is neutral. Without Atman, without God principle, body, mind, intellect cannot function. But it simply enlivens body, mind, intellect. How you manage your perception, action, emotions, thoughts, God principle has got absolutely nothing to do with it. So again, you make yourself, you unmake yourself. Don't blame God, don't blame anyone else. Yes, it goes without saying, without divinity, without God principle, nothing can happen in this world. But the quality of your actions, quantity of your actions, that you have to decide. You have that capacity to choose. You can be most self-centered, you could be most sacrificial. Same Atman functions even in the most selfish person. The same Atman functions in a sacrificial person. Same Atman functions in a terrorist, same Atman functions in a saint. You decide how you want to manage your life. And we discussed about an example of Krishna with Jnana Mudra and stick. So it's fascinating. With that gesture, he's educating the entire humanity. So you decide. Yatha ichchati tatha kuru. This is how Bhagavad Gita concludes, isn't it? Krishna gives the highest knowledge to Arjuna, meaning to you and I. And in the end, he says, Yatha ichchati tatha kuru. Now you decide what you want to do with your life. So these were the main points in verse number 5 and 6. So I just recapped. So are we okay? The group, those who are attending online, all clear? Okay, excellent. Verse number 7, please.
चितात्मनः प्रशान्तस्य परमात्मा समाहितः शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु तथा मानापमानयोः चितात्मनः प्रशान्तस्य परमात्मा समाहितः शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु तथा मानापमानयोः.
So verse number 7, 8, and 9, they describe the state of perfection which a jnani has reached, enlightened person. But it is the style of the scriptures that though they talk from the absolute level, the same message is also applicable from the relative level. See, otherwise, absolute level, what do we understand? I mean, none of us can relate to it. But definitely, from our level also, we can relate to it. That's what I mean by relative. And also, you can find out where do you stand as far as your spiritual growth is concerned. And also, these points, this description, serves as a guideline for us to aspire, isn't it? So in verse 7, he tells us how an enlightened person remains unaffected by subjective changes happening at body, mind, intellect level. What is happening within you? Verse number 8, he talks about his attitude of oneness towards all objects in the world. When he contacts the world, how he has that feeling of oneness. Everything is equal for him. That is verse number 8. And verse number 9, attitude of oneness towards all beings. So when you contact the world, you interact with various beings, different types of people. So how he maintains that attitude of oneness towards all. So as far as verse number 7 is concerned, he remains equanimous when he faces pairs of opposites in the world, is the main message. Somehow he is equanimous. So how does he do that? Anybody could ask that question, anybody who is thinking. So he does that by educating himself. Intellect educates the mind. That is what it means. So what is that education? This is how we all need to educate ourselves. It's very easy to say you should not be affected by the pairs of opposites. So intellect has to educate the mind, meaning you need to lecture yourself on this. So to begin with, you need to understand that world is made up of pairs of opposites. A lot of people, they don't know this. World means pairs of opposites. Joy and sorrow, profit and loss, honor and dishonor, health, ill health, war and peace, birth and death. These are innumerable pairs of opposites. World is made up of these pairs of opposites. So you need to educate yourself that this is world. Number one. Number two, you will experience these pairs of opposites throughout your life at all levels of your personality, isn't it? First is what? You need to educate yourself. You need to understand world is an expression of what? Pairs of opposites. What is the question? Question answer has to be according to the question, right? You need to understand that. Child will not understand that. Will you tell a child that the world is made up of pairs of opposites? You're trying to tell Vedant. I mean, in future he will understand. His name itself is Vedant, but 5-year-old you can't educate him, right? But we can educate ourselves that world is made up of these pairs of opposites, and you will experience these pairs of opposites throughout your life at different levels of your personality. And then intellect manages your mind. When you encounter these pairs of opposites, you have to have strong intellect, which you develop with the help of the study of Vedanta. So when you encounter these pairs of opposites, your intellect has to manage the mind. People will honor you. You understand, fine. Why not? Same people may dishonor you. Somebody may praise you, somebody may criticize you. So how you handle that? Your partner may be in a great mood for a day or two. Sometimes it may last for, if you are lucky, few weeks. But the same partner may be, fangs, claws may come out. Both man and woman. Even man may have fangs and claws. Woman also may have fangs and claws. It depends on when they can come out. So you understand, it's no big deal. I mean, again, he or she will be in a good mood. So how you manage that? Are you with me? So if your intellect is weak, then mind overpowers your personality, and then you get into oh my God, why? And the most important thing is, when you are calm, you can deal with the challenges of life. So when mind is calm, intellect is available. It's not that you don't have intellect. Whatever intellect you have, the capacity, 20-30%. If your mind is calm, intellect is available and you can deal with any challenge. Let's say, for example, health versus ill health. Somebody is sick in the family. somebody not well, or you could be your own sickness. So how you handle that? So to handle that, mind has to be calm. And once mind is calm, intellect kicks in, and then you can face any challenging situation in life. So this is how you educate yourself. That world is made up of pairs of opposites. And in the book, he's giving a fascinating example, which I'm not going to repeat here. The magnet, iron, and a wood example is it's a masterpiece. So it's a homework. You have that much you have to study. Otherwise, it will be like a spoon feeding. But the main point is just to give you the gist of it. See, it depends on where is your identification. If you identify with body, mind, intellect, world will affect you. There is no way you can prevent that. But if you identify with the Atman in you, the self in you, then world cannot affect body, mind, intellect. So that's the gist of that example. So it's comparing magnet to the world. Iron is body, mind, intellect. And wood, the piece of wood is Atman. So magnet can never affect the wood, isn't it? But if you tie magnet and iron, or rather iron and wood, and then you bring magnet, then it sticks. But actually, wood is not magnetized. It's not possible. So the real you, the Atman in you, can never be affected by the world. It's not possible. But since your identification is totally with body, mind, intellect, you are affected. So that's the gist of the example. So this is the homework. Those who are attending online and in person, for everybody. So the Supreme One, who is self-controlled and peaceful, is balanced in cold and heat, in pleasure and pain, as also in honor and dishonor. So are we okay? Verse number 8, please.
ज्ञानविज्ञानतृप्तात्मा कूटस्थो विजितेन्द्रियः युक्त इत्युच्यते योगी समलोष्टाश्मकाञ्चनः ज्ञानविज्ञानतृप्तात्मा कूटस्थो विजितेन्द्रियः युक्त इत्युच्यते योगी समलोष्टाश्मकाञ्चनः.
The yogi who is satisfied with knowledge and wisdom, jnana with jnana tuptatma, is fascinating construction. Who remains unshaken, kutastha, who has conquered the senses, vijitendriyaha, yeah, that's the word he uses, to whom a lump of earth, stone, and gold are the same, is said to be a realized one. Jnana Vijnana Truptatma. I mean, if you understand Sanskrit, it doesn't need any explanation. Now, how do you explain it? But we'll try. So you get satisfaction in life. You are fulfilled. What fulfills you? What is true fulfillment? Jnana Vijnana Truptatma. So it's the knowledge, it's the wisdom which fulfills you in life. Nothing else. Jnana is knowledge, Vijnana is wisdom. So what is telling us? First of all, you need knowledge. This is what we are studying. But knowledge alone is not enough to apply knowledge in day-to-day life. Because a lot of people, they have this, yesterday also I heard somebody, someone, they were saying, I mean, I've been exposed to this knowledge for such a long time, but when do I apply? When do I apply this knowledge? Jnana is there, but there is no wisdom. So why there is no wisdom? Because there is no reflection on the knowledge. Any teacher, any book can give you knowledge. Nobody can give you wisdom. You transform knowledge into wisdom by your own efforts, by reflection. So therefore, your reflection on the knowledge you have acquired is extremely important. It's called as manana. So the teacher can give you knowledge. I can give you knowledge. Bhagavad Gita can give you knowledge, but nobody can give you wisdom. Wisdom is something which you need to acquire yourself with your own efforts. So that is where most of the spiritual seekers they lack. The entire approach to studying scriptures is scholastic. Knowledge is must to begin with, but it's not the length of the study that matters. It is the depth. Excuse me. So with your effort, you convert knowledge into wisdom. And when you have wisdom, then you live this knowledge. It gives you that capacity to deal with the world, with any challenge. Last verse itself we heard, world is nothing but pairs of opposites, right? And if you have a strong intellect, you will be able to deal with any challenge, death, birth, honor, dishonor. So you can't say you don't know. Can you say you don't know? But if something happens in your life, I'm pronouncing it, I'm magnifying it so that you understand. You lose somebody near and dear to you. How will you react? Some people are getting scared. Oh my God, why are you asking that question? Have a heart. Why are you giving that test? So how would you react? Most of us will fall apart. Or those will fall apart who don't have wisdom, isn't it? See, you can't say you don't know. You heard it last week, just now only, half an hour back, 10 minutes back. And some of you have heard it for, I don't know, forever. But are you able to apply that knowledge into your life? For that, you need wisdom. So the focus has to be on converting knowledge into wisdom. So wisdom gives you that capacity to deal with any challenge in the life. Drugs can destroy you, right? You better know this, you better be wise about it. Are you with me? If you don't understand, you know what can happen. Could be anything. Could be alcohol or any addiction. So through knowledge, you are trupta, you are content. You have that bliss. No happiness in wealth. How many times you have heard that? Isn't it? So you understand the role of wealth in life. I'm trying to explain what is jnana truptatma. Truptatma means content, satisfied. So there is no happiness in wealth, isn't it? But you cannot say wealth is not required. If you take that stance, you are in trouble. Wealth is necessary for sustenance or whatever it is. You can't survive without wealth. But wealth cannot give you happiness. It cannot give you contentment. It cannot give you satisfaction in life. You understand that, and then you carry on with whatever you're doing in life. You will acquire X amount of wealth commensurate with your efforts. So you're content with that. And there's nothing wrong in aspiring for more. But if you don't understand this, whole life you will be obsessed with wealth. Are you getting it? So jnana vijnana truptatma. So that pursuit of wealth, you're not victimized by that. That does not mean you don't associate with wealth. Does it make sense? So, with knowledge, which is converted into wisdom, you become totally self sufficient. That's the easiest way to understand this jnana vijnana truptatma, meaning you're not dependent on the world for happiness. Otherwise, throughout your life, you are dependent on the world for happiness, isn't it? If you have it, you're happy. If you don't have it, you could be miserable. You cannot tell child what is in a toy world. Jnana vijnana truptatma. Uh, Can you tell your teenager daughter or son, 12, 13-year old, jnana vijnana truptatma, what is there in the video game? What is in the teenage passion? They are not going to understand that. But you and I are capable of understanding that. We may not apply. Most of us cannot apply that. But that is where he really, tries to motivate you. That why are you dependent on the objects and beings of the world for your happiness? This is what he's saying. Jnana vijnana truptatma. So again, you can find out to what extent you are dependent on the world. 100% dependent, then it's a very terrible state. Zero dependence on the world, then you're enlightened person. You don't need this knowledge. You're beyond this knowledge. So you're somewhere between 0 to 100. So if you are dependent 30% on the world, try to raise the bar, reduce it. But ultimate satisfaction in life, true fulfillment in life, lies in knowledge, meaning knowledge which is converted into wisdom. And what is that wisdom? That you're not dependent on the world for happiness, self sufficiency. And such a person is kutastha, unshaken. You are not shaken up by the trials and tribulations of life. Now, again, this cannot be applied 100% to all of us. Then again, you're an enlightened person. So you need to find out to what extent world is bothering you. So we often give this example from Les Miserables, Victor Hugo, Monsieur Benevou, that priest, the famous priest. So whoever went to his house, they were served lunch or dinner in solid silver plates, right? That's the novel all about. So he invites John Valjean, or Jean Valjean invites himself to his house for dinner. And he sees nice silver plates. The whole cupboard is full of silverware. And in the night, he steals and he goes. So next in the morning, the servant, she comes and she opens the cupboard. The whole thing is empty. The entire silverware, expensive silverware is gone. And she tells Monsieur Benebo, he's writing something, Sir, she becomes hysterical, gone, gone, gone. The whole thing is gone. What gone? All the silver plates are gone. He does not even look at her. He just says, replace them with copper. Replace them with copper plates, steel plates in our language. He is not shaken up. So, what is your capacity to face trials and tribulations, challenges of life? You need to find out. And we often give that pain example, isn't it? You lose a pain. What is the loss of a pain to you? You lose a wristwatch, expensive one, Patek Philippe, or I don't know. He knows, he's an expert in watches. What is the other one? Patek Philippe and famous? Rolex. Somebody steals your Patek Philippe or Rolex. What is the loss of a watch to you? You lose your roof. So suddenly there's a wind and roof is gone. What is the loss of a roof to you? You lose your nice hair. What is the loss of a hair to you? You lose somebody near and dear to you. What is the loss of a family member to you? So you can go on magnifying. So if you crash at a pain level, then I mean, you need to work on yourself. I think petty challenge. You know? Weather changes, gone. You can't handle that. Or your partner's mood changes, you cannot handle that. It's a very low state to be in. That your mood is dependent on whose mood? Your partner's mood. What your happiness has got to do with your partner's happiness. He is miserable, she is miserable, she is paying the price. Why are you paying the price unnecessarily? So you find out what is your level. And it's not bad to know. I mean, if loss of a pain is upsetting, you accept it. I mean, what's wrong with that? But you have the capacity, Uddaret Atmana Atmanam. So fascinating. Vijitendriyaha, who has conquered the senses, meaning he is paripurna. He is satisfied within. So therefore, no value for the sense objects. That is what it means. So when you are enjoying something superior, why would you go to something inferior? This is what it means. See, again, not to be taken personally. And I mean, if you are enjoying something superior, I mean, if you are happy, why would you drink alcohol? Why would you drink wine? I'm not saying you should not. There are no do's and don'ts in Vedanta. Somebody may say, okay, give me a list. You manage your life. So why would you do that? Well, you don't feel the need. Well, you're paripurna as far as that is concerned. Same person may be addicted to coffee. I mean, teetotal. That is different thing. But as far as consumption of alcohol is concerned, you don't have that need in you. No. So why would you play with the sense objects when you are already experiencing a superior joy? Why would you play with the toys? You and I playing with the toys. Can we do that? We can't. Why would you go to the toy world? Because you're already experiencing something superior. So no value for the sense objects. Incidentally, you may contact the sense objects. This is where people misunderstand. Lady may not have any value for jewelry, for argument's sake. But you may wear jewelry if you go for a wedding. I mean, traditionally, you may wear few things. Are you with me? But you have no value for jewelry, isn't it? So it's not that you don't contact the sense objects. Even if you contact the sense objects, you have no value for it. Why you have no value for it? Because you are experiencing something superior. You're experiencing higher joy, higher bliss. And then he says how he relates to the objects of the world. So to him, lump of earth, stone, and gold are the same. He is said to be a realized one. Sama losta shama kanchanaha. So when he says lump of earth, means earth has got no value, least value, right? Stone has got some value. Yes or no? Gold has got maximum value. So as far as he is concerned, He is not enamored by anything. That's the practical explanation. See, when I came here from Canada 10, 12 years back, so the first class was at Kishore's house, and I started something for the youth, like 10, 12 sessions were there. And that class was hosted by a very fine family. I mean, I can't mention their name, they're quite well known in Michigan. And their house was award-winning house, one of the best houses in Michigan, top 10 houses. They had won that award for 2, 3 years. Fast, I mean, like spread over 6, 7 acres or something like that. Elegant house, nothing flashy about that house. So I has to go there, and then it was gated. So I had to wait, and they will call me and something like that. Through phone you had to open. And I always found 6, 7 people, 8 people waiting near the gate. So first I thought they have come for the class. So I went inside and I told him, I mean, do they not have the code or something? There are people waiting there. They say, no, they're just lingering there. They want to see the house. So when the gate opens, they want to peep inside. Are you with me? Fascinated by big house. Incidentally, you may live in such a house. It's not that you have to live in a hut. Incidentally, you may live in such a house, but you have no value for it. You're not enamored by this glitz and glamour. You are equally fine to have a gas station coffee, 99 cents. You're equally happy in Tim Hortons. Also, you are equally happy in Starbucks. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. You're not enamored by Starbucks. GM gives you Escalade, extended version. Why not? Next year, GM may give you Terrain. Next year, Impala. It doesn't make any difference to you. You're not enamored by Escalade. You're not enamored by Terrain. You're not dejected by Impala. It's all the same. You're equally happy to travel in economy. You're equally happy to travel in premium economy. You're absolutely comfortable in Delta One. See, how will they learn this if they don't get the experience? You get my point? The education has to be. That is why it's not, the wisdom is not coming. I won't blame him. Isn't it? Iron and gold can buy iron and gold. Said Swami Ramtirtha. What a statement. So you have no fascination. That does not mean you don't contact. This is where people misunderstand you. You're equally comfortable in a palace if you have to be, equally comfortable. You're absolutely comfortable having 7-course meal, 8-course meal. You're equally comfortable to have McDonald's burger. You're not enamored by anything. You're not dejected by anything. So it's fascinating, very practical verse. This is how you can find out. Are you enamored by glitz and glamour? Then it shows where is your focus in life. You are a materialistic person. That's all. And next verse number 9, how he relates to different types of beings. He has that feeling of oneness towards all. Very practical verse. Verse number 8, please. 9, please.
सुहृन्मित्रार्युदासीन मध्यस्थद्वेष्य बन्धुषु साधुष्वपि च पापेषु समबुद्धिर्विशिष्यते सुहृन्मित्रार्युदासीन मध्यस्थद्वेष्य बन्धुषु साधुष्वपि च पापेषु समबुद्धिर्विशिष्यते.
He who has equal regard for the good-hearted, friends, foes, indifferent, neutral, hateful, relatives, righteous, and unrighteous, he excels. Savishishyate. So very, very practical verse. See, most of us have problem in managing our relations in the world, isn't it? It's just a common weakness. So what he's telling us that you have to have feeling of oneness towards everybody. That is the ultimate test. And what is that ultimate test? When somebody is nice to you, obviously you will be nice to them. When somebody is nice to you, are you still able to maintain that feeling of oneness? That is the test. So, who is a perfect human being? He maintains that feeling of oneness towards all human beings, towards everybody, irrespective of how they treat him. That's the main point. So he divides them into 9 categories. It's a very broad classification you can read in the book. So, what you need to understand, there are 2 points. You have to have that feeling of oneness towards all. You feel one with them. But how you relate to them is different. See, most good many people, they don't get along with others, at home, work, everywhere, like a fighting cock, everywhere there are conflicts and confrontations. There are people, passive people, that are genuinely good, that they feel one with others. But since they do not know how to relate to them, other people, especially negative people, they get into trouble in life. So, one thing is you have to have identification. You feel one with everybody. Is it clear? But how you relate to them cannot be same. See, imagine a mother has 2 children. We always give this example. One child is disciplined, another child is like how you and I were, tough to handle. You know, how mother feels for both. Even the child who is very, very good child, same feelings. Even the child who is a rascal, I don't know what word to use, spoiled sport, how would any mother feel? Fathers can't answer that question. Only mothers show. Father, they go, I know how I feel. I will tell you. I know that. You ask mom. Mother don't understand that language. How mothers feel. Even the child goes to a prison and comes home, mother is waiting. With the shampoo and toiletries and all that. Maybe poor guy did not shave. Father is, he either he stays in the house or I stay. One of us will stay. That is father's stance. But ideally speaking, she should relate to them. She relates to them differently, isn't it? Somebody who is not disciplined, she will yell at him or whatever, try to discipline. But feeling of oneness is same. If you understand that, then the rest of the verse doesn't need any explanation. How you relate to a deer and how you relate to a bear has to be different. We go for a walk, sometimes deers, they come so close. So we all wait and take a photo. Yesterday I got, I don't know, some 3 or 4 feet close, as if it was posing with wide eyes. So I shared with Ritika. She said, wow, wow. I mean, how come did it not get scared? I don't know. They're my friends, But if a bear comes near you, you better, better not take a photograph, But you don't hate bear. Are you with me? Perhaps you bear may fascinate you more than the deer, but how you relate to them has to be different. If you mix it up, you will get into trouble. So there are all types of people in the world. There are people who are genuinely, they are true friends. There are people who are out there to get you. So you must learn how to relate to them. So if you relate to the person in the same way you relate to a friend, you will get into trouble. He will be harmed. It is not his fault. That's what he is. It is your lack of assessment. You are not able to assess him. But the feeling of oneness never goes. Are you? This is, it's not easy to understand. But how you relate to them, that depends on the situation, the circumstances with whom you are relating. For that, you need knowledge. For that, you need intellect. So, irrespective of what you receive from others, you have charitable disposition towards them. Extremely important. When people are antagonistic towards you, you still feel the same. Do you still feel the same? Ask yourself. But the way you relate to them cannot be same. And again, in Ramayana, beautifully it has been shown that Ravana, he abducted Rama's wife, Sita. And Ravana was not an ordinary enemy, a formidable foe he was. But how Rama handled the whole thing, it's an education. He was chatura, he was clever. He handled Ravana on dharma. He was righteous in dealing with him. So first he tried sama, conciliation. Return my wife, all good, we are friends. You could be my disciple also if you want. Sama, conciliation. Ravana did not budge. He said, what, do you want money? I'll give you dana. I'll give you gift. Ravana said, get lost. I don't need. Then he tried Bheda, dissension. At least somebody will overthrow him, Bibhishana and all that. I'm not going to get into the details. He said, nothing doing. Then at the last resort, danda, punishment. So if he had related to Ravana in the same way he related to his own brother Lakshmana, he would have been in trouble. So though he punished him in the end as a last option, he had same feeling, that feeling of oneness towards Ravana. So it's a very practical example. Not many people understand, So it's fascinating. And for all this is what we have been discussing. All these higher values, you need knowledge. In fact, that is the reason we celebrate Diwali. See, it's a Diwali time. The entire India is, getting ready to celebrate. Diwali, or the correct word is Deepavali. Cluster of lights, not one light. It's a cluster of lights. So it's a festival of knowledge. Light symbolizes knowledge. And cluster of lights, meaning unbroken bliss. So that unbroken bliss is your original nature, my original nature. You should be happy 24/7 because that's what you are. You belong to that state of infinite peace and bliss, cluster of lights. But due to ego and egocentric desires, that state of peace or bliss has been reduced to worry, anxiety, conflict, stress, confrontations, and whatnot. So therefore, whole night there's a firework, isn't it? That firework symbolizes You deal with your ego and egocentric desires all night. They especially back home. Here they may not allow, but back home it goes on. They do. So firecrackers or fireworks symbolizes you deal with your ego and egocentric desires with this knowledge. And next day in the morning, there's a holy bath. Everybody remembers that, isn't it? So that holy bath symbolizes cleansing of your personality. Last bit of desires are left. They are gone with your efforts. And then you wear new clothes. Everybody buys new clothes. It symbolizes newly acquired godhood. It's all symbolic. Okay, you attain that ultimate peace, ultimate bliss. And then what do? You go meet your friends, you meet your relatives, and you distribute sweets. So you share that experience of divinity with the whole world, that state of happiness. Everybody makes merry. Party time in today's language, not in an indulgent way, in a sattvic way. So the solution lies in knowledge. Why I mentioned Diwali, because just before the class, I remembered there is Diwali. We should know why do we celebrate Diwali. You may celebrate, you may not celebrate. So this is the meaning. That unbroken bliss is your original nature. If you are ignorant of that, that is darkness. Unnecessarily you suffer. Worry, anxiety, stress, confrontations. What kind of a life is that? Is it worth living, that life? So get the knowledge and fight with your egocentric desires, which is whole life. So when you do that, to the extent you do that, you're peaceful, you're happy. And then you must spread your experience to the whole world, meaning the knowledge has to go to the whole world. There is no other way. See, otherwise, it is highly selfish. Like some of us have been really benefited by this knowledge. I'm not getting, nobody's saying yes. Still, there are doubts. I don't know. Okay, at least it helped me. That much I can. I don't know about others. It will be highly selfish on my part. Nicely, I am sitting in Vedanta Academy or Pune, and having 3 meals in a day, nice nap in the afternoon. No, I better come here. That's the reason I've been sent here. People have invited me here. Go through whatever challenges I have to face here. Not really, but better educate the community. So similarly, those of you who have been benefited by this knowledge, forget the jokes. How can you keep quiet? Isn't it? Any human being, if he or she is suffering, it is your obligation to educate that person on the higher values of life. Understood, if they are willing to learn from you. There are millions and millions of problems in the world. At individual level, collective level, there's only one cause: ignorance. So how you remove that ignorance? Through knowledge. That is Diwali, light. The clarity which knowledge brings, how to manage your life, as opposed to darkness, where you fumble. Imagine this basement becomes dark. What will happen? There will be chaos here. So how you remove the darkness? Light. So how you remove the darkness in your life? The knowledge of the scriptures. So These are some of the main points in verse number 7, 8, and 9. And then you can read. There are 9 different types of categories. I'm not getting into that. The book is there. That is the reason you should have the book. Good-hearted, potentially good people, evil-minded, potentially evil people. They haven't done evil to you, but there's a potential. They may harm you. Friend, mitra, those who manifest goodness. Foe, those who manifest evil. They are out there to get you. Indifferent, those who may do good or evil. You don't know which way they will go. Neutral, those doing neither good nor evil. Relatives, those who mean to do good and do it. Righteous people, sadhu, those who follow the spiritual path and work towards the welfare of the people. Unrighteous, those who are materialistic and live a selfish life only for their personal welfare. So you will come across such people in your day-to-day life. So how do you feel towards them? So Morris Maeterlinck helps. I think, do you have that quotation? It is useful in addition to whatever we discussed. It's a very practical quote, Morris Maeterlinck. Happy and blessed hour, meaning you are happy. When wickedness stands forth revealed as goodness bereft of its guide. You are happy, you're not mentally agitated. When you see something unrighteous in the world, there are scams, there are all sorts of people in the world, negative people. So you understand that they lack guide in life. They're good, but they don't have the knowledge of higher values of life. So therefore, they are doing whatever they are doing, unrighteous things. You will be happy, which is equivalent of he excels. It will not mentally agitate you when you see negative people in the world. Otherwise, all the time, what are people discussing? What are you discussing? 80% of the time. Most people, they are discussing about other people. You know, you don't know there's a scam. The whole thing is a scam. The whole thing is, whole life you are discussing that. He excels. Opposite of that, he perishes. I mean, the whole personality becomes toxic. The moment other person's nature affects you and you entertain negative feelings, the only person you're harming is who? You yourself. When you see something negative in life, you are you able to identify with that person? That doesn't mean go and embrace. A terrorist comes here and okay, let's hug each other. I mean, the last hug in your life. Don't take it to that level. Usually, people take it to that level, especially Indians. They don't understand this. That is why we were ruled for 2,500 years. Anybody could come and invade us. It's not question of whether. We had all the wealth in the world. And invasions began 2,500 years back. If you're good, you expect everybody to be good. That's the problem. Krishna was not like that. Of course, I mean, he identified with everybody, but he understood that these wicked people, they have to be dealt with. So he related to them in a different way. So, I mean, we can go on and on, but I'm trying to give you some main points. So the homework is read that example of magnet, wood, and iron piece for verse number 8. It was right? 8. And verse number 9, that classification of human beings. It's a broad classification. So you read that. That could be your homework. And yeah, so that's it. So before we conclude, quick announcement. Tomorrow we are starting a brand new class on Somaji's book, the Holocaust of Attachment. It's a hybrid class. So those who are in Michigan, they can come and attend in person. It is in Franklin. Dr. Vinod Mohe and Geeta Mohe, they are going to host the class. So we can easily accommodate up to 20 people there, maybe more if required. But if you can't attend in person, of course, it is available online. And yeah, so any quick question, 1 minute I will give you. Something is really bothering you from what we discussed today.
Verse 7.
Verse number 7.
Fourth point that you said that mind, calm mind, when you have a calm mind, intellect becomes available
Yeah,
and enables you to face challenges.
yeah.
Clarification is that doesn't that put my mind in control, and don't we need a strong intellect to control the mind?
Sorry, I missed the last sentence.
Do we need don't we need strong intellect to calm the mind? Is the calm mind prerequisite so that the intellect, that like it was mentioned, that if the mind is calm, then intellect is available.
So I repeat the question. It's about the pairs of opposites. That's what he's referring to. So we are bound to face these pairs of opposites challenges. Let's say health versus ill health. Give you a simple example. So let's say somebody is not well in your family, right? So if that upsets you, then the mind takes over. You're agitated. You don't know what to do. You become emotional. How can you face that situation? How can you help the family member? But when intellect is strong, it will manage the mind. So it is understood. Only when intellect is strong, it will be able to manage the mind, the agitation of the mind. But it's not that we don't have intellect. It's not that zero intellect. Whatever is capacity, let's say it is 20% developed, but it can be completely overpowered by the mind. This is what happens. People become very emotional when somebody close to them is not well. We often give that example. It's a true example. In Bombay, girl came home. She was playing in summer, 7-8-year-old girl. She came home and she fainted. Seeing her mother fainted. Daughter got up in 2 minutes, but mother had to be hospitalized. So she got panic attack. Nothing was wrong with the girl. I mean, children, and the servant was there. She gave her like lemonade, and again she went back to play. Where is mother? On a simple thing. So it's not that mother is not, she doesn't have intellect, but whatever intellect she had, it was completely overpowered by the mind. So therefore, calm mind is the prerequisite. And why your mind is not calm? Because you don't understand the basic. So therefore, knowledge helps you. You understand. I mean, it's part and parcel of life. But ultimately, you need a strong intellect to deal with these challenges in life. All right, so let's, Charu, should we conclude for today? We need her permission.
Of course.
Okay. See you all either tomorrow or next week.
Hari Om.
Is there?
Hari Om,
you.
Amitji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Amitji.
you.
Hari Om. Thank you, Amitji.
Hari Om. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Hari Om.